Thank you, everybody. And my promise of not coming back has been already broken, but this is a special reason. First, I'd like to welcome His Excellency Dr. Raed Al-Shpool, who is the SG for the Ministry of Health, and who is here representing His Excellency Dr. Firas Al-Hawari. This has been a fabulous 2 days, and I'm so glad that so many of you have joined us on the second day to deliberate and discuss on really, really critical issues. I just want to take 2 minutes of time to talk a little bit about the next steps, because His Excellency Dr. Hawari, when he left yesterday, said, this is all wonderful, and I'd like to really hear what the plan of action is and what the next steps are. So we thought we'll take a little break from before we close and before John McKay from USAID comes up, just to talk a little bit of synopsis of what we've heard yesterday and today, and what were the key steps that we feel are really important as JNIL as we move forward as a community. I think we will all agree that there are changing dietary trends and a transition in Jordan that's highlighting the increasing burden of overweight, obesity, diet-related non-communicable diseases. And a significant burden of this starts very early in life. I think I'm a little biased because I work with infants and young children, but it is for a fact that they are being exposed to obesogenic environments and unhealthy eating habits very early in life. And of course, we have heard about the issues related to pregnancy and lactation, the kind of services-related issues, but also community-related issues that women have to face within the context of increasing overweight and obesity, increasing risk of conditions like gestational diabetes and its associated complications. The symposium was titled Diet and Nutrition and Health in Jordan, Promoting Science-Based Actions to Support Mothers, Infants, and Children. The idea was to provide a collaborative platform to bring rigorously generated evidence from Jordan by Jordanian researchers and sort of presented to each other, but also presented within the context of the policy actions that need to happen. I'm very privileged to follow Dr. Sausan's presentation, where she really outlined what is really needed for us in Jordan as a society to be healthy, to have a healthy and optimal lifestyle. The one thing I want to sort of, before I go into talking a little bit about the next steps, I want to highlight the fact that JNIL has two major components, and I think this sort of comes from an earlier discussion that was had as to how does this research translate into action. And maybe one example I'd like to give is how JNIL is working with Community Health Nutrition Program, which is really the implementation activity funded by USAID. And we are the research and evaluation activity that is funded by USAID. The key element of this funding mechanism across these two entities is that we have to work very closely together. The research that we do has to inform what CHN does, and CHN actions have to inform what we do in terms of research. So this is one example of how we can holistically interact and bring research and programming together and generate lessons learned. The other point also to make is, and many of y'all would have heard that the Community Health Nutrition Program that Doris Youngs, who's here, presented, is a very holistic program which is trying to link facilities to communities. And this is definitely a program that has got a real strong design and has got activities that are going to be rolled out in 3 governorates. So we hope as we go along between CHN and JNIL, we can present some lessons learned, but also successes in the upcoming years. Now, just to focus a little bit on sort of what are the actions, what are the next steps? And His Excellency Dr. Al-Shpool, I'm speaking to you directly, but I'm hoping that the message is going to His Excellency Dr. Firas. First of all, I think what is really clear is that you need to have multi-win policies. And what we've heard in the audience today, just half an hour before you came in, is that there is an absolute need to integrate IYCF protocols into the primary health care. And that is something that is going to be very critical if we want to continue supporting exclusive breastfeeding, support appropriate and timely introduction of complementary foods, improve access to quality health care, nutrition counseling during lactation and pregnancy, but even when women are not pregnant in preconception time. The other thing that I also want to highlight is what was very striking in one of our sessions was the need for psychosocial support for women during pregnancy and lactation. And this was very apparent in the COVID-19 session that we had yesterday. There is, on another end, which is sort of helping the health system. That is one thing. The other thing is there is a need to improve the quality of the diets of not just the Jordanian women and their children, but their families. And that includes expanding actions to cut the loss and waste of nutrient-rich foods, such as fruits and vegetables, through innovation and appropriate economic incentives. Dr. Sausan talked about innovation and the importance of innovation. That's something we really need to focus on. Need to promote cross-ministerial targets that collectively promote universal access to high-quality diets. Under no circumstances is just the mandate of the health system or the Ministry of Health, but the Ministry of Health can be the convener and can be the lead and the charge on this. And it's really important to integrate the health goals of the nation with food system transformation strategies. I think I mentioned this yesterday, Jordan has been very forward in making sure that it is linked to the UN Food System Summit, but also to the Nutrition for Growth Summit. And that in itself is very revolutionary and important to focus on and ensure that we can follow through with that. Last but not the least, all of this is linked then to investing in human and institutional capacity. And I think Dr. Sausan pointed out the importance of supporting human resources and also in investing in facilities so that we can have effective and sustainable actions in nutrition. And finally, somebody who comes from a space of being an academic, but who works in an applied research space, so important for us as researchers. And this is, I'm not just asking this to the government of Jordan, but this is for all of us who work in this space, that we have to link our research. We have to link our training to real-world policy and program actions, because it is a two-way street. We cannot expect policy action to translate into change if we are not able to provide the evidence to push that policy action. So on that note, I apologize for taking so much time, but I feel like these are the kind of actionable steps that we as a community can take in Jordan to improve the health and well-being of women and children. So thank you very, very much, and I believe I'm going to pass this on to John McKay from USAID Jordan to come and give some remarks. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Your Excellency, Secretary General of the Ministry of Health, distinguished guests, researchers, esteemed colleagues, partners, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for having me here today. I'm very happy to be part of today's closing ceremony for the first National Symposium on Maternal Child Health Nutrition here in Jordan. From yesterday's opening ceremony, it was clear that this was going to be a fruitful event, and I've gotten reports that it has been, so I'm really excited that it worked out that way. I hope you took full advantage of the main sessions, workshops, and discussions, and now leave with a better understanding on how to support affordable, healthy dietary choices and further ways to enhance nutrition here in Jordan. For decades, the United States and Jordan have been dedicated to enhancing the quality of life of families in Jordan, especially by improving delivery of critical, high-quality health care that begins with an understanding the research and evidence base. USAID's vision to support actions that will allow Jordan to continue making progress on critical topics such as this one cannot be understated. This is why we are in Jordan, and this is what we would like to support. Research is the engine of change, and you are all the fuel that powers that engine. To reference Dr. Sausan's presentation, you are the fuel or the input for the vision. You are what allows the vision to become a vision. And often this will go overlooked. Research is often overlooked by sometimes donors such as USAID, by the people in Jordan, but really it is the work that powers the change that will benefit everyone. So please give yourself a round of applause for the work you do and the work that you will do. Thank you on behalf of USAID and all the work you will do for him. You are so important to the future of health in Jordan. So before you leave today, I'm going to ask you to strive to take action on what you've seen and heard, and that really references what Shibani just talked about. Please, let's work together to put these ideas, this research into action. I would like to express my sincere thanks and appreciation to the Jordan Nutrition Innovation Lab and their local partner Mindset, who have worked to ensure this workshop is impactful. Through our continuing cooperation, it is my hope that our efforts will transform the Jordanian health system and the lives of Jordanian women and their families. Shukran.